Hey, everybody. Oops, hold on one second. I'm being messy here. Switching my screens up. Okay, hey, everybody. What's going on? I've always got something going on my shirt. Okay, listen. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Listen, it's trending topic Thursday. I'm in the building and we're going to get into it, okay? And everybody's wondering, why did I put exposure? Right? Everybody's like, what's going on? I'm sorry, y'all. This stuff, whatever's I think it's my hair on my shirt, is getting to me. But anyway, everybody's like, but what are you talking about exposure? Yeah, exposure. Because the only reason why they came out and told us about Wendy Williams' diagnosis is because one publication found out about it and was going to expose it. So the family said, we might as well go ahead and make this announcement now, because they knew since 2019 or before that what was going on with Wendy. Yes, they did. They knew towards the latter end of her show that Wendy Williams was losing it. See, a lot of y'all was telling us we as the fans was losing it. I told y'all when I went to that Wendy Williams show, and Norman, I don't know why his name slipped my mind sometimes. Norman was telling her for the last about 2 years of her show, he was reminding her of everything. She would start to talk about a subject in mid-sentence. She didn't know what she was saying. And Norman would finish it out. I hope they gave Norman a big bonus. He deserved it. He held Wendy Williams down. Yes, he was, Sebastian. Feeding her for years. He held her down. Now, that's a true friend. And he never told her secrets. He didn't go to no blogs. He didn't sit down and do an expose with Tasha K. To this day, mum's the word from Norman. It's the type of work I want by my side. Not out here telling the business for a nickel, dollar, or dime. That's who Kevin Hart needs to hire as an assistant. He got his ex-assistant out here running his business in the streets. To whoever will listen. They put a mic in front of her face. She's going to tell his business. Y'all better get y'all Norman. Shout out to Norman. Shout out to, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, shout out to the sidekicks who be holding up the people. Come on now. Shout out. Give it up to Norman. Norman, you couldn't pay him to say a thing about Wendy. And he held her down. The picture be right behind Wendy. Oh, come on. Shout out to Susan, too. They not in these streets telling Wendy Williams business. They loved her. And listen, you got to tell the truth and shame the devil. She used to come at Susan's neck. And Susan, Norman, and everybody else at that show, you couldn't get them to say a bad word about Wendy. Even, what's the DJ that left? You trying to tell me, what's the DJ that left?
DJ Envy, wasn't it DJ Envy?
No, it wasn't Envy. What's his darn name?
Oh man, it was
DJ Booth.
Booth. Yeah.
He ain't saying a word about it. You listen, there's many people that sign NDAs. Hey, Sasuke, they sign these NDAs and they still run their mouth. Kevin,
her hairstylist, her makeup artist, all of those people, Morel, all of them, mouth zilk.
Come on now.
And they still give Wendy her praises to this day when people ask them about her.
Come on, you better tell it. They ain't saying a word. Look at you with you said that Hugh Hefner sweater on. You better show the people.
Thank you.
You better show the people the fashion. I'm trying to tell you. Come on now.
A nice little Nautica for tonight. Little Nautica, you know.
Come on. You better show the people, okay?
Thank you.
So yeah, they ain't say a word.
With my robe of many colors.
You better. Shoot now. You ain't got to show them everything now. Go ahead now. Listen, they didn't say a word. They didn't say a word. You can't pay Susan to say a bad thing about Wendy Williams. Come on now. So they was about to expose Wendy Williams' diagnosis today. The Sun was about to blow it up. What's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, the Sun was about to blow it up. And they said, you know what? Because the Sun called them for a comment. They said, we got this story, we about to tell it. And they said, you know what? We're going to tell it first. They told it themselves. The niece went on The View. The niece did a whole press tour. The niece, yeah,
she about as touch as Wendy. We'll just leave it at that.
All right, because she ain't say nothing, but we're going to carry on. So, exposure. That's what this is about. Then we got Andy Cohen. Now, Nene told us over there they do the most. She said sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever. It goes down over there, Bravo. Allegedly dungeons and all that type of stuff. So allegedly Brandy, from where was she from? The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Mm-hmm.
She said Andy done sent her some video and said this, and he was drunk and this, that, and the other. And he said, do you want to watch me get down with somebody else? That's what Brandy's saying. Exposure. That's what this is titled, this trending topics. Exposure. Then we got a mom. She's exposing TikTok and she wants to sue them.
Mm.
She said her son is no longer here because of a TikTok trend where they were allowing videos. Now, I do think they should be at fault because, over here at YouTube, Roy, God forbid we say the wrong word. They're going to shut us down.
Right.
That part. Okay? They will shut us down. But apparently over there on the TikTok, they allow all these dangerous videos to stay up. And then the kids try to do them. So there was this dangerous trend going on in New York in the New York subways. It's a dangerous trend on the New York subways where the kids, they was riding on top of the subway car. Yeah. And her son lost his life because he followed the trend. Dangerous trends. Dangerous, Sebastian. Dangerous. My God. And he lost his life. So mom is exposing them and she want to sue. We're going to talk about it. You saw that trend, Sebastian. We're going to talk about it, but buckle your seatbelts. Because somebody got upset the other day. I understand they trying to say every time a kid do something, y'all be like, where's the mother? They said, well, why don't you say, where's the parents or where's the father? I hear what you're saying. But I like to say, where's your mama?
Where is your brain? That's the question. Where is your brain? Where's your brain?
But where's your mama?
But you don't need your mama not to do this, Diva. This ought to be,
Sometimes you do with these young kids growing up. Now, we want to give grace to the girl. There was the 17-year-old with Diddy, that story. They said we got to give her grace because her brain wasn't fully developed. They said all of that with
we
that.
Ain't giving grace.
No. Hold on. We're going to get grace?
No.
But we'll talk about it. We'll get into it. Yeah, not your mama. Yeah, where your mama? Ray, I can't with you. Don't be doing this. Once we get the laughing, that's it.
But I don't know how laughable tonight is going to be, especially with our Wendy, because I've been emotional. I've been very emotional.
Yeah, DJ Boo tried to help Wendy. He left because he refused to participate in the match. Yes, he did. But see, you want to know what? That's how you know deep down inside she's a good person, because these people truly loved her. Yes, they did. They truly loved her. And
but do you remember right before DJ Booth left? Mm-hmm. I want to say he made a comment on Instagram and he was like, you guys are going to see here in a few, how things really are going down.
Yes, he did.
At the Wendy Williams show and what's going on with Wendy for real. And I tried to stay and help her, but they don't want me to help her. So I got to go.
Whoa, you better tell it. Didn't he say that?
That's what he said.
Yeah. He was in his feelings because he said a lot of people saw a lot of stuff go down. Mm-hmm. She was doing things to herself because she was drunk, allegedly. Mm-hmm. And so he said it was a slew of people that got fired. He was in the patch that got fired because he wasn't trying to go along with the get along. Yes, I do remember that. Mm. Yeah, silence is golden. Come on now, Kathy Hilton. Holla at Kathy. You know, and Kathy know about silence. Because a whole lot done went on in that Hilton family. But we ain't going to know it. Why? Because Kathy know how to keep her mouth shut. Silence is golden. Me out in the street telling the family business. Norman, you know what, Norman? You deserve every good thing coming your way.
Well, I guess that's why they picked him up for the Sherry show, because you know he's over at the Sherry show now.
In the back room somewhere.
Now that I disagree with, because I don't know who this Sherry's best friend. Get him out of here. Goodbye. Shoo, be gone. That was Norman's spot, and that's where Norman should have been sitting. But we gonna let it be.
Yeah, let it be. They got him in the back room. I mean, he still got a job, so we got to be grateful.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow Norman on Instagram. You see his Instagram videos. He be doing his little stories still.
Yeah, he do. Come on, he's blessed. But he was good to Wendy. Yes, he was. Good to Wendy. And see, you know what? I ain't gonna be fresh and pull up the previous videos because I gotta get ready to board this train. But if I would have pulled up the previous videos, y'all beat me down over that Wells Fargo thing. Y'all wanted Wendy to have access back to her money. Now y'all need to go apologize to Wells Fargo, open you a savings account.
Now slow down. Don't be giving them all of that now. They have their ways.
Wells Fargo saved whatever cash she had left in that bank. Wells Fargo saved her.
Well, Wells Fargo is known for not giving us what belongs to us, you know, and being, you know, some type of way. So we're gonna give them the little grace that, you know, pitter patter.
Listen, go over there and open you a savings account or something. An investment account. Shout out to Wells Fargo. Wendy would have been broke.
But just know, as soon as they recognize something funny with you, they're gonna shut your funds down. So be ready.
Rightfully so. Listen, let me tell you something. Both my accounts, I think one in threshold might be 300, the other one might be 500. If something try to go through more than that, they give me a little ping on the phone, and the 1-800 number call me. Come on, save the couple of dollars I got in my account. I can't afford to have nobody take my mortgage money out my account. No, don't do that. Call me. Shout out to Wells Fargo, because y'all came at my neck, but we're going to move on, because I know how to forgive. Anyway, guys, I need a what in the chat? I need a all aboard, everybody. It's time to board this train for Thursday night trending topics and its exposure. You know, we did say 2024 is going to be the year of exposure. And on that note, I ain't touching it, but I'm just saying, pray for Larry Reed. Exposure.
Now you up in here doing your own dirt, but you got room to talk about everybody else and what everybody else doing. But
yeah, say a prayer for the Potter's house.
Do we really want to pray for the Potter's house, though, Diva?
There's other people. I don't know why I brought you up here praying. There's other people involved. Come on, everything you need is in the house, okay?
They said, who is Larry Reed? If you don't know who Larry Reed is, just type his name in the YouTube search engine, and you will find out very quickly.
Yeah, come on, LaToya. Woo, woo, woo.
Come on and let the people up.
Let me let the people in the building. Hold on now. Let me let the people in the building. Hey, Leo.
Hey, Roya. Hey, Diva. No prayers for the Potter house over here.
Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone.
Listen, everything that you need, it's in the house. Come on now. I'm done. Have you ever been?
I hope he had a chaser.
Diva, I have to acknowledge I was wrong.
Come on now. Holla at me, Sebastian, and I'm going to get right into this sort of.
Listen, I was wrong.
You beat me down.
Listen. No. I never beat you down. But I acknowledged I was wrong.
Now you trying to partially back the train.
I was wrong on the
back
Wendy.
the whole train up. Back the whole train
No. I'm going on the things that I said. I was wrong on the Wendy diagnosis.
Come on now.
But
down on that.
I still my point still stands on the bank thing. Okay, my point still stands. Wells Fargo is a racist bank. They need to make sure they have a history of racism.
Okay,
they
you know what,
sure.
Sebastian? I was trying to give you 60 seconds, but you know what? You started out right and then you finished off wrong. I got to cut you off.
Hi, Sebastian.
You see, I'm the only one.
Come on, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, if I put my videos in categories and I didn't have so many videos, I would literally roll the footage. Oh, he was running a bus over me back and forth. That night I had to go to the ICU, get a blood transfusion, some oxygen. It
wasn't just me. Why am I getting all the dragging for?
Back the footage. Look, you was the only one to speak up. You should have been quiet.
Well, I was just saying what so many people were too afraid to say, in the words of Wendy Williams.
Listen, we gotta get into this story.
Boy, y'all got me crying. Oh my God.
It's sad. But you know, and the sad part is I did tell y'all this though, right? When I reached out to Kevin Hunter, her ex, he did tell me, he said it's alcoholism. He said it's alcoholism. This was back, Sebastian, when we was doing all of these series on Sherelle's World. And I reached out to him and I said, you letting this go down. It's messed up. And he told me pretty much, he said straight up, it's alcoholism.
He did.
In other words, he was like, what you want me to do? She won't put the bottle down. And she was told, put that bottle down or you're going to be done. And the bottle beat her. And there's a lot of people that unfortunately their addictions beat them. Let's hear Denise speak real quick.
Look at a new documentary asking the question, where is Wendy Williams? After years of concern about the talk show queen, Deborah Roberts sat down with a member of her family for answers about her physical, mental, and financial struggles. We want to hear this conversation, Dan.
Robin, so many Wendy Williams fans will be paying close attention. What started as a documentary, which Wendy Williams hoped would spark the beginning of her triumphant return to TV, ended in a heartbreaking expose of her mental and physical decline, a decline that involves a court-appointed guardian lording over her finances and her health decisions.
Here's Wendy.
For 12 seasons, she reigned supreme on her unflinching, unapologetic daytime gossip fest, The Wendy Williams Show, with that signature greeting.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
No celebrity off limits during her often scorching hot topics.
Mariah, I don't know who you think you're fooling with this one.
But this morning, the 59-year-old self-proclaimed queen of all media is herself the hot topic in a jarring new Lifetime documentary. Where is Wendy Williams? From the start, we witness an erratic and shockingly thin Wendy.
This documentary is hard to watch.
I know.
Very hard to watch.
Yeah. I said I wasn't going to cry because I feel like I've cried enough over the last year and a half. But what people are going to see is a broken woman who has had the world on her shoulders for so long and just cracked.
Alex Finney, Wendy's niece and goddaughter, now breaking the family silence.
I feel like I've been living in this secret bubble for a very long time.
Lifetime producers witnessing low moments with excessive drinking, fits of anger,
Go! Bye! I have no idea where we are.
and bouts of incoherence.
I have no friends. You know how many people come out to support you? You know how many people love you? No, I don't.
Some people are going to look at this and say, this is exploitation. She's being exploited. How could they do this?
Right. But I will say this, first and foremost, my aunt is the executive producer of this documentary. And she said, now is the perfect time because I want to take ownership of my story.
Our first caress.
For many, Wendy's story took a dramatic turn on Halloween of 2017 when she collapsed on her show, leading some to wonder whether Wendy, who openly talked about her health struggles and battle with alcohol and substance abuse, was in trouble. Her show went on. 2 years later, another setback.
I have been living in a sober house. And you know, I've had a struggle with cocaine.
Then a messy divorce, bizarre behavior, and long absences from the set followed. In early 2022, The Wendy Williams Show was canceled.
From 6 years old, all I wanted was to be famous.
Months later, those documentary cameras began rolling, with Wendy hoping to reveal a career reboot. But that's not what producers found.
Did you have a liquid lunch? Because I came into your room and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I happened to notice one of your specialty items. So you think you're perfectly fine having as many drinks as you want?
Perfectly.
Okay. But I'm just going to put it downstairs to keep it cool.
Keep it there.
Okay.
Is she an alcoholic?
So in terms of being an alcoholic, I don't want to categorize her because, I'm not a medical professional, but what I can say is that my aunt has had some unhealthy habits when it's come to alcohol.
They discovered a lonely, agitated woman.
People will look at this documentary and wonder, where's her family?
Right.
How come family's not there saving her?
Because family was shut out.
We would take responsibility with regard to guardianship and personal needs to ensure that she was healthy. I'm not talking about her money. You put the money over here.
A New York judge appointed a guardian to manage her life and finances. That action coming after her bank, Wells Fargo, claimed in 2022 court documents that Wendy was a victim of undue influence and financial exploitation.
The court is going to look at the best interest of the individual. It will be based on the evidence that's presented as to how the family was helping Wendy Williams at the time.
If it happens to me, it could happen to you.
Overnight, Wells Fargo telling ABC News this matter was conducted under seal. Any claims against Wells Fargo have been dismissed.
There was talk that Wells Fargo got involved in this because they thought either her son, Kevin Jr., or somebody was taking advantage of her financially.
Yeah.
Do you know that to be true?
So I personally have not seen family taking advantage of my aunt's money. I haven't.
Have you ever taken money from your mother's account?
Not without her consent.
Family members insisting their biggest concern is Wendy's well-being after noticing her apparent cognitive decline.
During this filming, at what point did you know something was seriously wrong?
Oh, right off the bat. When I saw her, she didn't have to say one thing. I knew that every cylinder is not firing the way it should.
You are bigger than this. You are better than this. You are smarter than this. You are stronger than this. People around you getting paid, they're going to tell you stuff to make you feel good.
So who benefits from this documentary? Is it family? Is it managers around her who are going to benefit from this?
I think that's a question I can't even answer. I know that, I will say this, family benefiting from this, no. I don't, no. I just hope that the person that comes out of this victorious is my aunt.
Now, what is it that you would like to have?
I've already told you.
One day?
I've already told you.
Tell me again.
I want to be back on TV.
Your hopes for her? Do you think that she has a prayer of actually resuming a career?
I think that, well, I know that in talking with her, she does hope to resume a career. And my hope for her is that she does whatever she wants to do that makes her happy and that stays in the bounds of keeping her healthy.
The family, feeling exasperated, tells us that Wendy is in a treatment facility, though they don't know where. They say they have heard from her and she sounds much better. Where is Wendy Williams? The two-night documentary event premieres this Saturday on Lifetime. And guys, you can catch more of my conversation with Alex on Nightline tomorrow night too. Wow. Where to begin, right?
Where do you start with this, Deborah?
Yeah. It's very, very difficult. But, the courts have basically separated Wendy. So the family is not involved in her care, even those who really have her, best interest at heart. And so how do you deal with this when it is, the state that is running her affairs?
And to say she's the executive producer when you can see that in some ways she's not really in control.
Does she have the capacity to really do that? Yeah. But they say she sounds much better and that she might be making a little bit of a recovery. So hopefully we will find out a little bit more later. But for this moment, they just don't know where she is.
Well, great job by you and looking forward.
Whew. It's a lot. It's a lot. So let me just show one more thing here. I believe I connected this article. If I didn't, and you can always Google it, but I'll go back and make the connection. So they're saying her dementia and all the diagnosis that they're giving her is alcohol-related brain damage, as she nearly died several times, sources claim. So all of those times where we heard Wendy was in trouble, it was true. Will Selby found her in her apartment with her eyes rolled back in the back of her head. And, she almost died again that time. They didn't think she was going to make it. So there was several occasions where Wendy just almost did not make it. So Wendy Williams suffers from alcohol-related brain damage and has nearly died several times, multiple sources have claimed, ahead of the upcoming Lifetime documentary set to premiere this weekend. They also cut the documentary short. They stopped filming the last time that, Will Selby found her and had to take her to the hospital. That's when they ended the filming. So several insiders spoke to the U.S. Sun for them to get this particular information. And so they said when they called the family to say, look, we know the diagnosis, we're about to release the story, that's when all of a sudden this family decided, oh, we're going to just go ahead and tell everybody what's going on. Right. So Wendy Williams, 59, was first presented with a devastating alcohol-related brain damage diagnosis in 2019. So they knew for years what was going on. While she was in rehab in Delray Beach, Florida, sources claim. One insider explained that there was a brain scan done as part of Wendy Williams' rehab stay. After a neurologist sat down with the star, her son, Kevin Hunter Jr., 23, and then husband, Kevin Hunter Sr., 51, the doctor explained to them that Wendy was suffering from an alcohol-related brain damage. They told her that the alcohol abuse had done permanent damage to layers in her brain. She was warned then and there that if she continued to drink, the damage would only get worse. They detailed in that meeting that what would be eventually happen if she continued on the path she was on, according to the insider. It was then the doctors foretold of the eventual decline of Wendy's cognitive abilities, which have become apparent to those who have come in contact with the star in recent years. They told her that she kept drinking, she would continue to grow more forgetful, that she wouldn't remember people's name, and eventually she could forget who people even were. How sad is that? So after the U.S. Sun reached out to Wendy's representatives for a response to the claims, they publicly announced that the star had been diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia and aphasia. As Wendy's fans are aware, in the past, she has been open to the public about all of her health problems, okay? So there they tell you about how dangerous the drinking became, how she had to end up in the sober house. I'm not going to read this whole thing, and how it impacted all of her situation because she could not stop drinking. In this article, they talk about how as soon as she came out of rehab when she was in Florida, on her way, the first insider said that after Wendy's rehab stay in Florida in 2019, the star relapsed on the plane back to New York. She flew private there and the plane was dry, but on the way back, she flew with an assistant at the time and there was booze on the plane. The assistant claimed they fell asleep on the flight and Wendy drank so much that she had alcohol poisoning and had to go to the hospital that night. Now, they know that she was struggling. Why did they have that much alcohol on that plane? It's the setup. It's the scam. It's the people being around her that truly didn't care. Why would you have that much alcohol on the plane? They said she struggled during COVID. And she was near death in May 2020 during the COVID lockdowns. Another hospitalization, they said the U.S. Sun had previously exclusively reported Wendy had a health episode at home during her Wendy at Home tapings, during which she was rushed to the hospital and needed several blood transfusions. Wendy remained hospitalized for weeks following the dire incident, leaving Denmark Mercury, the production company behind the show, without their star to fill the time slot. The production blamed her Graves' disease, but she was in the hospital. Her final season, she went through a lot there. They give you the whole breakdown in this article. In 2023, she had another near-death experience. Now, this is when Will Selby, he found her in her apartment right here. The outlet reported that producer says they stopped filming at the Wendy's manager, Will Selby, found her in her apartment with her eyes rolled back into her head. Will then urged Wendy's guardian to get her help, according to the outlet. So they stopped filming. Now she's supposedly be in some type of safe space. Nobody really knows who she is. She has all these court-appointed guardians. They wanted to claim her son was, part of the people that was taking money out of her account at that time when Wells Fargo's was like, enough. It's a lot. But it's the drinking, it's the substance abuse, it's the Graves' disease, it's the lymphedema, it's the sadness, it's the depression, it's everything. Roya, what are your thoughts? And Roya, I just got to grab something, so after you finish speaking, go. Thank you.
This has been an emotional roller coaster for those of us who have been real Wendy Williams fans from the beginning. I was not surprised by the diagnosis that was put out today, only because of the behavior that we have been experiencing from Wendy since about, in my opinion, 2018, 2019 is when I really was like, okay, my girl is not my girl. I truly question at this stage the team that she has around her. I question her family because I question her family, but I don't question her family because once someone pushes you away, you cannot force access back into their world. They have to let you back in. But I also wonder, as a family member, what actions have they taken legally to help Wendy in the situation that she is in? Going forward, I don't see a career for Wendy coming back just because based off of what we're seeing in the documentary, she is not ready to be in a place of recovery and really do the work to fully recover the best that she can with everything that's going on from what we have seen thus far. I'm just really speechless about this whole situation. One thing that really bothered me when I was kind of reading the comments earlier on social media is that people were shouting, karma, 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 karma. This is not karma. The only difference between us and Wendy Williams is that she was bold enough to talk about people on national TV while the rest of us running around talking about people behind their backs. If people really knew the stuff that we said about individuals in our own homes, we might as well get ready for karma to hit us as well.
Amen.
This is nothing but Wendy, unfortunately, not treating her mind, body, and spirit in the way that it needs to be treated. And so now, we are seeing the effects of the drinking and the drugs and the trauma, because I think a lot of the drinking and the drugs comes from the trauma that Wendy has dealt with. She dealt with childhood issues growing up with her family. If you were a real watcher of the show, she really talked about how her mom and dad always talked about her weight and tried to get her, in control and to be this girl of society. Wendy was never that girl. She was always out of the box, do her own thing, so she had childhood trauma. She had trauma in relationships. Kevin was not her first marriage. She talked about her first marriage and how there was issues in that marriage and that Kevin was kind of her savior, if you may. But Kevin came from a life of gang banging, drugs, all of that stuff. So in essence, Wendy never dealt with the trauma of Wendy. She always had someone else there to help gather the pieces and kept pushing her going. Well, then after you have a baby and then you're going through a divorce, of course you lose your whole mind because your whole life has been based in not dealing with your trauma and holding on to other people to get you through to the next destination of your life. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. But, my prayers are still going up for Wendy. I pray for her family. I pray that, she gets a team around her that wants to see her do well. Bump TV, bump the career, bump all of that. We want to see Wendy healthy and doing well, as we would want to see anyone in our family, in my opinion. So, Leo, what are your thoughts and opinions?
Oh, thank you so much, Royer. I feel several layers. It's a long-term alcoholism that she is dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
There is also the repercussions of being the person and the personality in the brand that has accumulated so much money that Wells Fargo and the financial people around her decided to put her in a guardianship. Not to argue whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. In my own personal finances, I want to be the person that's in control of my finances. But, I'm broke and I only got a few pennies and only $1 or $2 and a few nickels. But the person who is a multimillionaire, there are many people that are invested in her success, including the bank, that wants to make sure that her money is not squandered because of her frailty or her mental diminishing. Her capacity her mental capacity is diminishing.
Yes.
So within her alcoholism is a disease. And I want people to really be aware of this. Her alcoholism has showed its face in her 50s, but Wendy has always been an alcoholic. Since her 20s, she's always been an alcoholic. And the fact that when she was told in 2019, you need to stop drinking or you will lose all your mental capacity, you tell me something like that, then, don't bring no drinks around me, because that's the only thing I really got. You know what I'm saying? So for her to not be able to contain her alcoholism through her pain and her struggle, alcoholism is a disease. She really had no control over it. She had no control, not without a program, not without a support system, not without people being there to support her to be able to move, to be able to live within her being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So this is what it is that has happened to her. I've lived with someone, my grandfather was mentally impaired from alcoholism. So I know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And so there's really not that much a person themselves can do about it without the support. Not even to go into how she probably felt when she had to deal with publicly her husband had done made a side baby and done humiliated her all through the streets. Then we go to the Wells Fargo thing.
And we got to remember, Leo, that was her deal breaker. Remember that? She said that on national TV.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And he held her together. He kept her soul together. And mind you, she was drinking the whole time that he was with Serena. She was drinking. Let's not get it twisted. She was drinking the whole time to cope with that. Because she knew Wendy may have lost her marbles now, but her marbles was good when they got that house in Jersey a mile away from her house. She knew what was going on then. And when was that? 2017, 2018?
Yep, 2018.
So she knew. All right. So we go to the Wells Fargo thing. The Wells Fargo thing with the guardianship, I am so against taking over other people's money that they work hard for. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that it is warranted or it's not warranted in Wendy's particular incident, but they ain't come and get Kanye with their money. They ain't come for him. They ain't come for Michael Jackson their money when he was around here buying elephants and monkeys and all kind of craziness. He was in a hyperbolic chamber. They ain't come for him. Ozzy Osbourne was around here biting off the heads of birds, and they ain't come for his coin. But they came for Britney and them coin, and they came for Wendy Williams coin. And it's not like she had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I think she was worth like $60 million. And they came for her. And I'm not saying it isn't worthy of someone needs to be there to be able to be an arbiter for the protection of the wealth that she has built. But why not involve the family? That's my part. Involve the family. Her sister is a lawyer. If you didn't trust the son, if you didn't trust the ex-husband, why not involve the sister? Because the sister was never involved being, as far as I know, that Wendy wasn't paying her bills. Why not involve someone in the family in the arbitration of this guardianship from Wells Fargo? So I feel like other people have their own invested interest in Wendy's money, and they're not invested in Wendy per se.
You know, Leo, you literally said everything that I could really think of in regards to this whole situation as well. You know, I think that because Wendy was Wendy Williams and she was the support of everybody, alcohol was her support. When she had no support, it was still there for her. So, you know, it's sad. It's truly, truly sad. But y'all make sure that you're truly checking on yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Like they say, check on your strong friends. Wendy is one of those strong friends that the people should have been checking on and probably was checking on. But because of her surroundings, here we are. So that goes also, be careful of your surroundings and who you have around you. Felicia.
Hey. Good evening, everybody. I'll pass. No comment.
Okay. E. Hey, E.
Hello. Well, there are a few things here. When the lady said that Wanda was the executive producer of the documentary, I got stuck on that. I watched The View earlier today, and the niece said that the family didn't know where Wendy was exactly, but that she was in a rehabilitation facility. They had no contact. The niece made it seem like it was Star Trek Voyager and Wendy was lost in deep space. She said Wendy can call them, but they cannot call Wendy. The niece said Wendy's father was sick and in the hospital, but no one could reach Wendy to inform her and let her know what was going on. And then she said no one benefits financially from this documentary or anything that Wendy has going on. Well, last time I checked, executive producers do get paid. Last time I checked, you do get a stipend when you go on The View and Good Morning America. You are a guest. Okay, there's something, I don't like this. The Sun, when they flashed that part of the preview, the Sun flashed on the screen and he said he has only taken money out of the account with Wendy's permission. And I understand that this is her son, but I'm taken aback by this, because if Wendy has been suffering with dementia, alcoholism, and brain damage since 2019, Wendy cannot give you permission to do anything. To me, that's the law. And in order to enter into this contract, because it was something that I can't remember if that was something we discussed backstage or if that was something that the niece mentioned. And I don't know why I feel like Whoopi and that niece talked about that 3-part deal that Wendy had with Lifetime. Do you all remember that, or is that something we just talked about backstage?
I don't remember, but she said, I think you said Wanda, but she said her aunt has executive produced the docuseries.
Right, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Wanda. I'm sorry, but
Wanda is. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, Wendy.
Wendy, not Wanda. She said Wendy. Right.
Wendy.
So, right. That's why she said she don't feel that. You know, she's saying that she hopes her aunt benefits from it, and she is executive producer, so she don't feel that it was about her being exploited. I want you to finish, E, but let me say this. See, the thing is, Wendy has been losing it for a minute. So how did she sign up for this thing in the first place? Right. So they're exploiting her, right? Secondly, the thing is, you heard her son got a little nervous, in my opinion, when you watch him say, I only took money out with my mom's permission, right? And if you heard, there was a other guy, I can't remember, I have to go back and look at it again to see what his title was. He said, see, a court is not going to be all willy-nilly. So he said, see, the court is going to make a decision that's best on who should be over it. We don't know during this time period who was going into Wells Fargo and started taking her money. We don't know how much was ciphered out before Wells Fargo was like, whoa. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So I'm thinking maybe they didn't pick anybody in the family. And this is just thoughts in my head because I was analyzing what these people were saying and what that one guy said about how they're not going to just make a random decision about who should be over their money. And maybe they couldn't pick nobody from the family because everybody they knew of at the time that was part of the family might have been at the bank taking some of the money. I'm just saying. Go back. If you go back and listen to him again, something is amiss. And the son wasn't 10 toes down about this money. He claimed I only took money out with my mother's permission, but he knew full and well because he was there when the mom was diagnosed that mom goes in and out. Well, go ahead.
Well, I agree with most of that. Thank you for steering me in the right direction, but I'm still on the boat where she can't give any of them permission to do anything. She can't executive produce anything. And a contract made by both parties who sign a piece of paper must have the mental capacity to understand the contract and its effects. And so if you're telling me that this person has she's limited, and I'm just going to paraphrase and just say mentally ill. She is of diminished capacity. She could be intoxicated half the time. A contract made in this type of situation can be voided. So all of this nonsense about this 3-project deal, that did not have to be so. And so, Wendy being adamant that she wanted to tell her story, how can Wendy be adamant about anything at 59 years old when she can't even go out and go to the grocery store and pick out what she wants to eat for dinner if she wants to? She is within the custody of a conservator. She has been deemed a person who requires special protections and is court order. So when I say I'm looking at this family crazy still, they all participated within the documentary. Every single last one of them. They got their makeup and hair done. They got their nails done. They got mic'd up by producers. They filmed confessionals, but nobody did Wendy's wig. And that scene that really pissed me off with Black China. I'm just sitting here looking at this, and China is saying, I love you. And Wendy said, I do too. What are we doing here? It doesn't make any sense. And I don't see how you can slap Wendy's name on and say she executive produced it when she's not really there. On The View, the niece said that she wasn't firing off on all cylinders. This doesn't look good. And it's not like Wendy is known for wigs. It's not like she's not wearing a wig because she cannot afford it. She's not wearing one because they didn't put one on her. Lifetime too. What is this? You've been working with Wendy for years. You've gotten her input going back to the Aaliyah movie, her talk show. I mean, she's been working with people, and this is what you put out for her. Even if Wendy told you she wanted to do this, you just told me she has brain damage, permanent brain damage. You told me she suffered with alcoholism and she has another disease. Why would you even if she told you that, why would you even believe it and film this and then put it out? And why is the family promoting it and telling us to watch it? I'm taken aback by it, and I don't feel good about it.
Whew, it's a lot, but the family is confused. And I think that the family participated because at the time they had no other access to Wendy. This Will Selby is in the midst of this thing. You see him all up in the documentary, and he's the one that's going to bring the bottle out, knowing they filming, talking about, oh, you had a liquid lunch or whatever he said. This is all this Will Selby and this other person that is the conservator. They was exploiting her. But listen, the family's been saying this for a long time, for years. The son has been saying it. I don't have access to my mother. He blamed it on Will Selby. Everybody was at the son's neck all about the money. But he was saying for years that Will Selby is keeping my mom away from me. They won't tell me where my mom is. My mom did not wouldn't want to be in this project. And his father even got on him because his father was shocked to see him in it, because initially they all was 10 toes down about not being in it. But I think the son is conflicted. It's his mother. And I think he probably thought, if I get to see my mother for 2.2 seconds, then maybe I'll go over here and do this.
Well, Diva, one more thing. Because, yes, I see what you're saying on one hand, but the fact still remains, yes, if you wanted to go film a scene with your mother, I can get with that. But what about the confessionals? What about the confessionals? And this is not how Wendy, if Wendy wanted to look like this, Wendy would have looked like this on her talk show when she was going through all those things. Wendy loved to come to work. She hated to call off. But when Wendy couldn't make it, Wendy couldn't make it. And I don't think that she would want this to be what her legacy looks like in the end. Lena Horne, what is that phrase? A lady always knows when it's time to bow out. If Wendy lacks the cognitive to be able to make that decision, then as people who love Wendy, you make that decision for her. They should have fought harder to keep this off the air. This is not good.
Oh, it's not good, but I think though it was out of the family control. If you got Wendy, who is the executive producer on this, Will Selby already did whatever slickness he did, right? So how is the family going to fight something that the person that's in the documentary, and the documentary is about, is the executive producer, and she signed on for it?
Because she's sick and she got brain damage.
Right.
Wanda is a lawyer.
No, I don't know. Okay, we got to look up to see if her sister's a lawyer, because now somebody's telling me a teacher, but I thought I always did hear her say that her sister was
She's
a lawyer.
She's a lawyer.
Okay, I got it. All right. But either way, though, you could be a lawyer, but if you're not on the case, I mean, what are you going to do? The sister maybe could have tried. The sister is crying in there too, saying she tried. Something is amiss with this whole thing, because for them not to even have access to her, but also, there was a couple of weeks ago where they claimed that Wendy was now back with the son and back in Florida. There was an article on that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know about that, because then the latest article is now like, I think Denise, what did Denise say in the interview?
She's in a facility.
And they don't even know where she's at. So I don't know what's true and what's not true anymore. Something's amiss. Savannah, you're up. I'll be back with you.
What we're witnessing is a broken woman, a lost soul, and a weak spirit. And I must confess, I think that the public holds some responsibility, because we all been wondering, where is our Wendy? We've all been saying, where's Wendy? And I think she is extremely sick, and it's been, I like Royer, have been emotional ever since I've seen and heard today's news, and seen her latest state, and it's just so sad to see her condition. But I will be watching the documentary this week. I agree with this weekend. I agree with E. I don't think that this is what how Wendy would want her legacy to be. As we all know, Wendy was always about her wigs and her hair. She would never be without her turbans, or her wigs. She would never want to be without her and her hair, her natural state. She will be with her turbans, and you will never see her like that. And it is just breaking my heart. And I don't think we know the real truth about her current state as it is. And it is just devastating to see what Wendy, but what our purple chair queen is at right now, her state. I don't fault the family, and as much as I fault the village that is around Wendy currently. But sometimes the devil that she knows is best to keep around. And by that I mean, if when Kevin was there, although he did her a lot of harm, Kevin in his own toxic way did protect Wendy, and it's just sad. I don't know. It's just killing me because I do remember going to her show many times and seeing her be bubbly and vibrant and smiling and just dancing and partying in her own way. And just seeing her now, it just breaks my heart to see Wendy in her state and knowing Bruce Willis' condition and that they have the same diagnosis. It's heartbreaking to see that that's where she is. So it breaks my heart that that's where our queen is now.
You know what, Savannah, you are right. We said, "Where's Wendy?" Yes, we said, "Where's Wendy?" Thank you, Nadi. We said, "Where's Wendy?" And so they did the documentary. We was begging to find out where Wendy was, and they did the documentary. And I think we're all in agreement, right? She would never want to be seen in this light. Her son even said it. But you know what? That Will Selby, he got her in there, and it is what it is. So Wanda is a lawyer. Hold on one second. So Family Ties, who is Wendy Williams' sister Wanda? Wanda has chosen to stay mostly out of the spotlight. Wanda Williams is one of the people who continues to be a pillar of support for Wendy Williams after her leave from television. Here's everything we know about her and her relationship with the Wendy Williams show host. Wanda Williams is Wendy Williams' only sister. Unlike most of their family, Wanda has largely stayed out of the limelight. In her professional life, she's worked as an attorney. Wanda is currently an advocate for kids who are part of the child welfare system in Florida. As Wendy's oldest sister, Wanda has become one of the staunchest supporters. In a preview for the Lifetime documentary, Where's Wendy Williams, Wanda expressed frustration over not being able to physically offer support to her sister, who is checked into a treatment facility for cognitive issues with no access to the outside world, including her family. We all make choices in life. We all go through our challenges. She's still a person, Wanda said. We are her family. You tell me that I'm not capable of taking care of my sister. What would you do? What should I do? Does Wendy Williams have any other siblings? Apart from Wanda, Wendy Williams has one more sibling, a brother named Tommy, who works as a personal trainer. The pair previously feuded after their mother Shirley's funeral in 2020. But they reportedly reunited after they were spotted riding a boat in Miami, Florida together in April 2023. Family is everything. Believe that, Tommy told his followers on Instagram at one time. How can I watch Where's Wendy? Where's Wendy Williams is a 2-part series that will air on Lifetime over 2 days. Now, remember I told you it was supposed to be 3 parts. They had to shut it down when Will Shelby came into her home and found her near death. Part 1 premieres on Saturday, February 24th at 8 p.m. Part 2 will air Sunday, February 25th in the same time slot. According to the press release, the documentary will show a raw, honest, and unfiltered reality of Wendy Williams' life after she was placed under financial guardianship, shedding light on the vulnerabilities that has turned Wendy into the hot topic herself. Suffering mental and physical issues, Wendy's delicate state of mind, erratic behavior, and declining health were all captured by the cameras. Those who have cut the cord can still watch the series via services like YouTube, TV, Hulu with live TV, and Sling TV. So they telling you can catch it. Lifetime's not playing. I do believe that this series is going to shut Lifetime down. And when I mean that, I mean in a way that the ratings are going to be out of control. out of control. Sebastian, you're up.
Oh my God. I love Wendy Williams. We all know that. I really do. I love her. I wish the best for her every day. From the day she was on her TV show till today, till forever, I will always wish her the best. Wendy is a pioneer. She worked very hard throughout her life to reach where she got on that TV show. Wendy knew what she wanted to be from a very young age. Wendy knew what she wanted to be. Despite all controversies with Wendy, people saying this is karma, this is things like this, I will say this. I agree with Royer completely. And I also want to add this. I hope everyone who's saying this is karma, I hope you guys were angels in this life because your karma may be coming soon too. I agree with E as well. I do not believe Wendy would want to do this documentary. Lifetime, I will criticize them because if she wasn't in her lucid times, why would you do something like this? And she clearly seems inebriated on these cameras. When the little scenes we've seen in these trailers, we clearly see she's not there, and you guys continue to film. It's very problematic. And Diva, on that article that you just showed, there's actually a side little article on the side that says that the Wendy's Guardian has sued Lifetime over this. This is a very I want to say this is problematic.
Oh wait, you know what though? Let me just say this to you, Sebastian. The Guardian sued. Where were you, boo? You wasn't watching her every day when she was filming.
That part.
You wasn't there. They had to call you when Will Selby came in the house. She could go sit down somewhere. That chick right there too. She's a money grabber.
Mm-hmm.
She's about the money. She's about the finances.
That part.
She can go sit down. So cameras was in the house of the person you're supposed to be overseeing and watching, and now you just want to wake up and say, "Oh, we shouldn't do this." Let me just say this, and I'm gonna let you finish, Sebastian. We gotta stop saying, "Well, how dare Lifetime?" Lifetime is in the business of making money. Lifetime is no different than who could allow that being Bobby Brown show to come on when clearly Bobby and Whitney were done when they was filming that. Done. Whitney Houston must have been a toothpick, and they should have saved Bobby Christina while they was filming that, because you cannot convince me that while they was filming that, they never saw Bobby and Whitney doing some stuff. And I'll just leave it like that. They sure was drinking all day long, because when they showed up the film, Bobby and Whitney were drunk. Did you ever tore down? So we cannot blame these the networks for putting on a show that you signed up on the dotted line for the foolery. And unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of people that need to go down before Lifetime because they lied and they signed on dotted lines. Just like they signed on the dotted line for Wendy Williams to do some women's expo. And remember that commercial where they finally, the Women's Expo was like, we ain't doing it. And the Women's Expo had to sue to get the $25,000 back that they gave her in advance, because when they sent the commercial, Wendy was all over the place, still talking about being married, not being married, having on her ring, and said her name was Hunter. And
it was fraud in then too, because remember they had to file another lawsuit because they wouldn't give them back the money that they had paid her. They had only gave her a portion of it or something like that.
Now you got to tell the people right here. So my thing is, I know we want to say, how could Lifetime? How could any of these shows? How could Bravo show the nonsense? How could Zeus show the nonsense? Hulu? All of them. No, this is bigger than Lifetime. This is about the people they put in charge, the Guardianship, and all of these other people doing wrong by Wendy. That's what this is about. But go ahead, continue.
I see where you're coming from, Diva, but I agree with E on this. We can go after the others later, but right now we have to shed the light on Lifetime. I want to say this as well. I am not in agreement with Wells Fargo at all. I'm not. I truly am not, and I'm going to explain why. The banking system, we make up the banks. The people make up the banks. And when they do things like this, there's a lot of chances for abuse. And that is exactly what's probably happening right now. That Guardian is abusing the system, most likely, in my opinion, I believe. I believe the courts need to deem someone else to be the Guardian. Either the niece or the sister. Either the niece or the sister, not the son, because the son may be tempted to go give his father some money, because the father's going through some health issues of his own. I don't think that. I think that she should do the same way as Barbara Walters. We should not hear any news. We should not see anything. We shouldn't have to see her anymore. She should just have to be in her peace and everything. And that's it with Wendy. Like, your health is your wealth, and that's the only thing you should be focusing on right now.
I appreciate you, Sebastian. I'm about to move to Tay, but let me just say this, Sebastian. Let me help you out with the bank situation, right? So just like when your debit card gets stolen, right? And maybe the bank sees some suspicious things on there because they kind of the algorithm knows your pattern, right? They normally know, like, okay, this person don't usually go to the Target and spend $5,000 a pop, so they block it. And even if it's you, they block it, and then they call, they put a text or something to your phone, and then you got to call, say, yeah, it was me. And then they say, okay, tell the people to put it back through, and we're going to let it go through. So we cannot fault a bank. At least I wouldn't. I want my bank to protect the little bit of funds I got so I could go get my Starbucks when I need to go get it. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that the bank is not just going to willy-nilly, randomly. And we had this before, so I'm going to let it go because, we've been down this road before, right? The bank is not going to willy-nilly just say, you know what? It's Wendy Williams. We want to freeze her account. No, they're going to see, like, okay, wait a minute. Yesterday, her son came in here and got $3,000. I'm making this up. Then they're going to say, well, dang. Then they came back Thursday because people test the waters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they let me get this $3,000. Now tomorrow I'm gonna go get $5,000. Now Friday I'm gonna get $15,000. And you keep letting that happen. The next thing you know, she's out $1 million. Right? And then they could have flipped and sued the bank and would have been like, it wasn't me who came in the bank, it was my son. Why did you let this $1 million go out the door? And now the bank got to give her back that $1 million that her son came to take. So all I'm saying is that I feel like we could tell that her cognitive issues wasn't good. We know now for a fact that she got a diagnosis in 2019. So the bank wasn't far off from them saying, hold on, wait a minute, she not in her right state of mind.
I agree with you on that.
In and out like a roller coaster. So you wanted Wells Fargo to go ahead and let her whole bank account drop down to zero.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Help me out.
No, absolutely not.
Help me out.
But clearly, this court-appointed guardian that they have put in place
is a fraud.
Is not working well. That's what I mean. That's my point.
All right, well, you'll say your point clearer next time, because you were saying that, Wells Fargo was wrong.
Well, Wells Fargo has a history of being wrong.
Wells Fargo. I think people really have, Black people specifically, have major issues with Wells Fargo, which is why they get the brunt of it so much, in my opinion. I think that's where Sebastian may be coming from. Am I right, Sebastian?
You're not wrong. Wells Fargo has a history of racism. Like,
okay, so hold on before we get off the beaten path, because I got to get to the next person. But watching Wendy, who is Wendy Williams' guardian, the former talk show host son has voiced his concerns about the capacity of his mother's financial competency of his mother's financial guardian. As Wendy Williams continues to struggle with her health, her finances have also taken a toll. After her self-titled show was canceled, she was appointed a legal guardian. And there she is. That's Sabrina. Where did they find Sabrina at?
I'm going to find her.
Hold on. Because on December 8, 2022, it was revealed that Sabrina was appointed Wendy Williams' legal financial guardian. Born on October 3rd, 1964, Sabrina is a New York City-based attorney from, Carrollton, Georgia. She operates an infamous law firm located in Manhattan. Specifically, her areas of expertise are guardianships, estate administration, and elder abuse cases. Well, can somebody bring a case against her?
Fire her.
Sabrina is also president of the New York Women's Bar Association. She is alumnus of both West Georgia College and New York University. Regarding Serena's financial guardianship over Wendy, an insider told the U.S. Sun, this isn't like a Britney Spears conservatorship. This is a financial guardian. This is someone who is watching over her finances, who is making sure that the decisions that are happening with her accounts are in her best interest. When Wendy asks for something to happen, the guardian is making sure it is in her own financial best interest first. Her accounts are now handled between the guardian, Ms. Williams, and the court. The source added the court can eventually decide to give Wendy back full control over her accounts and end the guardianship, but that is up to the court. She still has a voice and she still has to say. She doesn't have 100% control right now. That could all change depending on what the court decides. If the court gives her this money, it's trouble. And how did Wendy's family respond to her financial trouble? While discussing Wendy's battle with her health and finances, her son Kevin Hunter Jr. told the U.S. Sun, I don't feel like Sabrina has done a great job at all. I think that's based on her actions. I don't have to assume something is going on and that she's not telling me. What's been made more important by the people around her is that while her health may not be great, she needs to keep on earning income. In my opinion, that should not be a priority at all. Whoever has been hired, they're taking advantage of someone who needs to get better. There are a lot of people who are very aware that there's an issue with her drinking and how that issue may be helped. But I think these people are taking advantage of it while allowing it to play out to make it look like they aren't causing an issue. It's been really sad what's been allowed to happen. And ever since the court hearings ended, something just has to be brought to light about what is going on and how much people are taken in this situation. He father shares in terms of who is there now. People have put other things in front of her actually healing and getting better. And one of those things were this documentary. This documentary. Tay, you up? I'll be right back again, Maria.
Something is wrong with that picture about the lady that who charged Wendy Williams count. It looked like guilty to me right now. Guilty. Something ain't right. Something is fishy over there. Something. We need to pray for Winnie to get better for there because see Winnie like that just break the heart for the fans right there. Mm-hmm. And Winnie need to get away from the toxic people who don't care for her. They ain't care for her wealth or nothing. It just greed right there. Greed. The word is greed. They don't care for her. This world is going crazy. All they think about is money. That's all they want. Is money. The rule of the evil. And that's it how it is right there. Get well, Whitney, because your fans wait for you. They want you to get better. That's my dog right there.
Thank you so much, Tay. I believe Jules is up next.
Yeah, welcome, Roya. How you doing?
I'm well. How you doing? Jules, are you in the building?
I'm here.
Hey.
Your
thoughts on this
Wendy is a trailblazer, and it breaks my heart to see this. I know when the first trailer dropped, my jaw dropped. I hope she is in a treatment facility getting help. But I do hope with this documentary comes out, the funds go to the family so then that way they can fight. Maybe her sister can be her guardian with the help at litem of her daughter, the one that was in the interview. So then that way, and her manager, so then that way the family can know that she's safe and sound. Everything is in order for her and so forth. I wanted to get that out before I talked about her manager. That fool need to go.
Mm-hmm.
He is messy, and the way that he, like, that whole exchange in the trailer about the alcohol bottle. Yeah. A mess. A muck. As it said in the movie, a muck. A muck.
Thank you so much, Julius. Please remember to hit the like button as you're coming through the building. Hit that like button.
Can I say something real quick, Royer?
Sure, yeah, real quick.
Okay, I see there's a super chat that says she has a debilitating progressive form of dementia. Unfortunately, she's not getting better. I think the documentary is good. Let the truth come out. Okay. The thing is, I'm going to say this. As low the chances are of her recovering, there are miracles in this world. They exist. 2, medical advancements exist. We do have a chance in our society. There are chances in this society for there's more to be medical advancements. Yes, they're small. The chances are small, but they do exist. As we saw, Celine Dion came back. We didn't think that she was going to be able to walk and everything. There are chances. Miracles exist in this world. I'll just say that.
Period. Thank you so much, Sebastian.
Let me do this real quick. SD Mac, thank you so much for the super chat. She has a debilitating progressive form of dementia. Unfortunately, she is not getting better. I think the documentary is good. Let the truth come out. Perhaps this documentary might resonate with someone out there who perhaps might have gotten the same diagnosis and is on the trajectory and the same path as Wendy Williams. And maybe as a result of seeing this and now knowing the diagnosis, I do think this is good that the diagnosis came out before the documentary, because maybe now we will definitely see the documentary with different eyes. Do you know what
Compassionate understanding.
Compassionate understanding. And maybe now someone seeing this will say, you know what? She got told in 2019, I'm sitting here drinking myself to death.
Let me put the bottle down.
Come on, Royer. Let me put the bottle down. And I think I saw in my eyes the moment with her and Angela White, Blac Chyna differently. I feel like Angela White is truly a good soul. I really do. I feel like, she was saying in there, when I was in my dark moment, as much as we want to talk about Wendy and her talking about people, but Blac Chyna said, in my dark moment, you didn't judge me. And so in Wendy's dark moment, Angela wasn't judging her. She came to see about her. And although, yes, I know Wendy, she's a glam girl. She wants to have her hair, or this or that. But I think on that couch, it was a vulnerable moment between her and Angela White. And it wasn't about the hair, the nails, the this, the that, the other. And I commend Angela. And I'm glad she's on this journey of, you know what? Something just hit me. Oh my goodness. It just hit me that Angela had issues too with the substances.
Similar, very similar.
Very similar. And if she would say that's a result of maybe seeing what Wendy was going through or whatever, that girl did a whole 360. And I thought that moment, although because we're seated with that diagnosis, the person goes in and out, in and out, in and out.
And if you remember, Diva, Blac Chyna has talked about Wendy Williams being there for her at her lowest moments. And so in my opinion, what I seen in that scene, in my opinion, was Blac Chyna paying it back or paying it forward to where it came from.
That's how I feel.
I think it's funny, so many of us were able to help others, but we can't help ourselves. And I think that's what Wendy was. She was so available to help others, but not available to help herself.
She couldn't come out of her own pain.
Yeah.
Because it was deep rooted and it started in childhood. If you dig back to a lot of people and their issues, mostly you will find it was something that happened in their childhood.
Childhood trauma.
SD Mac, I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. It is the same as Bruce Willis. Yeah. And listen, nothing I know for a fact. I don't know these people, but apparently he did. Listen, they do a lot of partying in the entertainment world. And if you speak to most of these celebrities, they will tell you at these after parties, sometimes on the set, they don't have bagels, cheese, and grapes and apples. They have alcohol and substances.
Mm-hmm.
They say that about Andy Cohen, allegedly.
Right.
Ooh, this is a lot.
Right. So with that being said, perhaps Bruce Willis did a little bit too much of things also. And now suffering from the same, situation. Just imagine you being hooked to the booger sugar, because this is YouTube, and every day or every other day, you putting that stuff up your nose and it's going straight to the brain. How much do you think your brain could take? Before there's holes and your brain is like Swiss cheese. Plus doing all his own stunts. I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger or maybe Sylvester Stallone said if he could teach any young actor coming up, don't do your own stunts. He said, don't do it. Katrina, you're up.
Yeah, I hope Wendy got a will and she got things in place before she got to the condition that she's in now. Because if she doesn't, her son gonna have to fight that bank. That lady that y'all showed, that lady looked like a crook. No offense, y'all, but she just looked like a crook. When we asked for Wendy, we seen her, and when we seen a train wreck. And like you said, maybe somebody needs to see this so they won't be on that train wreck. And as Tay said, it's greed. They all want her money. They don't care if she's laying in a bed with some glasses on, as long as they can get her in front of a screen so they can make money off of her. They don't care about her. And the reason why she probably was drinking like that, from childhood trauma whatsoever. But she say all the time that she'll go home and stay in her house. She don't come out her house. So I'm quite sure she was probably a little depressed, and her fun time was coming on TV doing that show. And to have that taken away, that was another depression, not knowing why it's taken away because you're drinking. But she drinks so much, and like you said, you can only do the booger sugar for so long that it is going to start eating up your brain. The same thing with Bruce Willis. I remember Yasmin Bleeth, I think that's her name, used to play on Baywatch. She did so much that her nose had got gangrene, and they had to operate. Even with the gangrene, she still was trying to sniff it. So the thing of it is, I just hope that she get to the point where she's comfortable. And like people say, there's a lot of miracle drugs out there. They're doing stuff that we don't even know what they're doing now. So we're not saying that she can't come back from this, but as working as in the nursing field as you or whatsoever, when that onset starts, that's a whole lot of stuff to go through. Because I remember they told us you're twice a child and once an adult. So she was a child, she's adult, and once you start having dementia, you go back being that child again because you can't really do anything for yourself because you lose controls of your you get incontinent, you don't know when to eat, you don't know when to sleep. It's a mess, and hopefully, if God willing, he's very good at healing, very good at healing. Maybe prayers answered. God answered prayers all the time. So we'll just have to see. But I really feel that I don't know if she signed that document, that 3-part series when she was in that way. And like you said, Lifetime doesn't care. They just want their money. So they can't sue Lifetime for something that she signed up for. Mr. Welby, whatever his little name is, that doing all this mess. He probably was the one that signed it. But like you said, they're in there for the money. They have put a lot of shows out there. I think that was VH1 that put out Bobby and Whitney. But either way, I just pray that she gets better, or if she's not getting better, just she's comfortable. That's it.
I appreciate you, Katrina. You know, the other thing is a lot of people went through it during the pandemic. And remember, because they know the withdrawal you can go through, one of the essential stores during the pandemic was the spirit store. Now that's a whole nother story in and of itself that they call that the spirit store. Like, you know what I mean? But we ain't gonna go down that road today because I didn't even think we was gonna be this long on Wendy Williams, and we probably gonna have to drop these other topics. But it's a lot. It's this thing is layered. And I think Eve wrote, you know, she was drinking away because 18 years she was married and 19 years her husband had a mistress. Well, that's a lesson in and of itself right there. Don't lose yourself over nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Save yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Save yourself. If the man is for the streets, I don't care how in love you are, release him back to the streets. Save yourself. Release them back to the streets. I don't care if you got 1 kid, 20, or 10. You and your kids stay in your house and be happy and release that cheating man back to the streets. The streets is what you want. Well, I got to set you free. There's somebody out there that's not going to do all of that. But you'll never get them while you holding on to that. Naughty Love, you're up.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Naughty.
Oh, boy, where do I begin? You know, Wendy
Love you,
really,
Naughty.
hey, she is the result of unresolved trauma. I mean, she never resolved the trauma from her childhood and what she dealt with the body shaming for her parents. As a result, she's never felt safe. We have to remember she also was R word, you know, when she started working in the radio world. All right. So that's another layer of trauma. Then she gets with this man because Kevin made her feel protected, right? So that's why she was attracted to this thug. But because she had unresolved trauma, she allowed the cheating and things like that. And so that adds another layer of trauma because she had to deal with his infidelity through the years. And yet she had her deal breaker, the baby. And then she lost her whole family, right? Went through a divorce. And on the tail end of that, she lost her mama. Okay, so then you add the layer of grief to that trauma, you know, and I just think um, Wendy just really got lost in her depression and she didn't see a way out. Um, my heart goes out to her, seriously. Whew, it's a lot to even see her this way because like she paved the way for all of us. She is the goat of this here gossip realm, right? And she's the reason why all of us are able to exist to this day. But I believe the documentary, they're doing it on purpose. I feel like the family participated on purpose to expose the guardians and the conservative shit so that they could take control back, to just get her to a healthier place. Now, the damage is already done, you know. And the sister to me always came off like she never wanted the limelight. She always played the background. She lived her own life and things like that. It's Tommy who was the scavenger. So I'm glad to see that her sister is participating in the docuseries and her niece and even Kevin. Like I'm interested in seeing how he feels about the way his father treated her, his mom. You know what I mean? The way he has taken her for granted. I mean, ultimately, it's a sad, sad story, but I think the world needs to see this. Um, and it's no more secret. Wendy can't hide it anymore. You understand? She's battled with substance abuse forever. Um, I just pray that she can at least get to a place where she's comfortable and just live her days out being happy. You understand? But I really, really, truly believe that she's a result of unresolved trauma with layers of pain on top of that because she got with the wrong man. Um, Also, The Guardian. I think this exposes the Guardian because to me, the Guardian is only in the best interest of the bank and not Wendy to keep that money in the bank. You understand? That, that's the only thing I think her interest is. As far as Wendy, her health, she don't care. Only thing Wells Fargo care, and don't get me wrong, Wells Fargo is very, because I bank with them, they very big on security and protecting your funds. And if they see you trending and spending more money, they flagging you. They calling you like, hey, is this you? That's how they are. You know, unfortunately, I just think she got into the hands of the wrong guardian, the wrong people, because Wendy had pushed everybody away because she was ashamed of what she was dealing with. That's the reality. She was ashamed that she was sticking by this man that was doing her dirty, spending up all her money. And let's be clear, Kelvin, he was only in the best interest of himself. That's the only reason why he protected Wendy, because he was protecting his pockets. Let's be clear. Look how this man is still out here trying to sue, still trying to get money and things like that. Like she had to do what she had to do to get out of that situation of paying for his side baby and paying that alimony to him. And I think Wendy thought she could handle it until she stopped and realized she was all alone. You understand? Because she had pushed everybody out of her life because of what she did, because of being in the spotlight and things like that. So it's my heart goes out to Wendy. I take it back to the days. I used to listen to Wendy ride home from work, chewing in the microphone on WBLS, spilling all the tea. You understand? That's the Wendy I miss. I just really, really say prayers for her. But I think this documentary is done on purpose because if you notice, they did the same thing with Britney Spears. Until that documentary came out, she didn't have leverage to get out of her conservatorship. Think about it. And so I just really feel like this is the way the family, this is the way her sister legally is trying to take the power back.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I feel they participated to try to get help themselves and have their plea on there. To say like, let us help our sister because obviously these people around her don't have their best interests in her best interests at heart. I believe if that day he came to her home and found her with her eyes rolled in the back of her head, that if that didn't happen, the documentary would have been 3 parts. They would have still been exploiting her. And they would have still been trying to get her to do projects that they knew that she was not capable of doing, versus having her in a facility where at the very least, professionals are taking care of her and she's perhaps getting the right medication and help in understanding. I mentioned earlier, it's lucky for Bruce Willis. He has his family. He has his wife, his kids. He has his ex-wife.
Exactly.
They're in his corner. Wendy has a bunch of strangers.
Exactly. She pushed everybody away. So that's why I can understand the family's perspective. Like, we were shut out. You understand? And I believe that really, really happened. But for the Guardian to throw this Hail Mary at the last minute, right before the documentary drops, that tells me you're afraid of being exposed. Because why now? We've been knew this documentary was coming out. Why all of a sudden are you trying to sue and things like that? And I believe that they're doing the documentary not only to put money in Wendy's pockets, but to kind of empower her a little bit to take the power back. I just really think Wendy needs a clean house and just be around her son and her sister.
Well, we gotta see. They claiming they don't even know where she's at, and none of that is.
They say they speak to her, they just don't know where she's at.
Right, it's very sad. Well, they speak to her when she calls, and imagine like, does she really know like a moment like, oh, this is my moment where I'm clarity. I want to call my sister. and does she remember the number? Do you see what I mean? So they're controlling everything that Wendy is doing and what's going on with her. And it's extremely sad. And I will say this in 2019, but she probably couldn't wrap her mind around the diagnosis. In 2019, when the doctors told her pretty much to knock it off, that's when she should have sat down, did a will, and did a power of attorney, and did all of that stuff to make sure that she would have the right people over her before it got to this particular level. But she didn't see it coming. Most people, when they're diagnosed with something, it takes a time period for them to wrap their mind around the diagnosis.
She didn't want to accept it, Diva. I don't think she wanted to accept it. And then right after that, it was a roller coaster for her. She lost her family. She lost her mother. You know, that's a lot to endure. You know what I mean? That's a lot. And then you're doing this alone. But DJ Booth tried to help her. You know, I think he really had a genuine best interest for her. You know, because he didn't try to exploit her or make it seem salacious. He could have did all of those things, you know. But you know, Wendy, she stopped loving herself. Let's just face it. And she wasn't willing to face what she went through as a child and walk through that trauma. So this is the result of it. Like that's why therapy is important, people, and that's why it's important to surround yourself around people that's gonna be honest with you and tell you, like, girl, you off your rocker. It's time for you to get help. Like that's the type of friends I want around me, you know. But Wendy isolated herself and she wrapped herself up into Kevin, but Kevin went on to start a whole nother family on her. Then what's left? This what's left. And I really, really believe that Kevin Jr. has his mom's best interest at heart. I do not believe he will take from his mom or anything like that because I'm proud of him. He has gone on to start his own promotion, business, and things like that. He's making his own money. He's making his own money now. You have to check out his page. He's doing his thing. So he got something from his mom, and he's using that to his advantage. He's using his celebrity to make a little bit of money.
Thank you, Nadi. Ronald, I appreciate you for sharing. Diva, take it from me personally. When you're deep in your addiction, you ain't listening to anybody. And that I do know. That I do know. The person has to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
The person has to be ready. That I do know. I appreciate you for sharing them. It's just sad, but at the very least, like I said, at that point, she should have sat down and said to herself, you know what, let me write a will. Let me do this. Let me do that.
She probably wasn't accepting it. The thing is, not when you hear these tragic news, even people who get diagnosed with terminal illness at times, sometimes they don't want to accept it. It's a fact. Sometimes they don't want to accept it and take the seat and, you know, it's time for others to take care of me. Sometimes they don't, especially the ones who care for others more than they do for themselves. I've had an aunt who've passed away a couple years ago. She would care about more people than her own self, and that's sadly what happened to her.
Yeah,
I agree. And Diva, the saddest part about that documentary is at the end when Wendy said, I miss my family, and she was crying. I think that's the moment of clarity. I really do think that she misses them. And the other part I was going to say was, crap, I just lost it, Sebastian. I was going to piggyback off of you. The thing was,
you're right. You're
Wendy,
right. That was a moment.
Wendy, when you said, Diva, because I forgot all those times where it came out that, you know, Wendy had DIED'd. And, you know, all these times they thought that these things were happening. I'm willing to bet, and I could be wrong, that Wendy was so depressed and so uninterested in continuing life after losing her mom, after the divorce, after the show being canceled. That was her everything. She loved that show. I'm willing to bet that Wendy didn't want to live anymore. That's what I'm getting from this. Who goes
there was a rumor, E, that she allegedly tried to unalive self.
I believe that.
Yeah.
She lost everything.
I believe it too. She lost her whole world. And that's why I'm compassionate about her right now. I'm showing her grace.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm showing her grace. Like, trust me, I'm coming for the people who
I
fuck
think
up.
we all are right.
We
So
all are.
yeah, when the time when they said she needed all those blood transfusions, that is the time where they claim she tried to, do whatever she did to self-harm. I can use the word self-harm. That
And
she
Diva, can I make this point? Imagine living with a man that you think is your whole world and he loves you and he's cheating on you in your face. She said it out her mouth. Kelvin was a serial cheater. She probably drank her pain away. Like, Wendy never felt like she was enough from her parents body shaming her from a child and then into her adulthood when she was R-word, right? And then she gets with this man thinking that he's going to protect her and she's his whole world. And he flips the script and he's continuously cheating on her. I believe she started using the alcohol to suppress her pain. She didn't know how to deal with that.
I want to say this thing about addiction. A lot of people are quick to say, "Oh, she should have gave it up. She should have do that." I want you, everyone, all these people who are saying this, give up your favorite snack that you be snacking on every single day and try to see how it feels. Give up your favorite Snickers bar, the almond, I don't care which one. Just give it up and see how it feels. It's not easy to give up things that you like that. It really isn't.
Say
And
it.
and I'm really it annoys me when I hear people say, "Well, this is what she did." Like, you think it's that easy to get something up? How about you
Give up shopping. Give up
your cell phone?
Just give up the things that you love to do, even though it may not be healthy for your body or your bank account. I mean, give up all the things that you enjoy doing that may not be good for you. Give up your coffee. Give up your tea. It's all a struggle to do.
I just understand why she couldn't just walk away. She has so much wrapped up and invested in this man. He was wrapped up in her business, her personal, and everything. They went through how many children that they lost together. Okay, you add that trauma, that layer of trauma. How many children Wendy lost trying to bring a child into the world? And we all know she loved nothing more than this world than to be a mother. And for her to not even put that at the forefront tells you she has lost herself.
And then got your baby calling another woman mommy. Come on, Nadi.
So hold on, guys, because I always like to do something to help the people and put another lane on this situation. So if you look up, this is not Diva, if you look up psychologists or psychiatrists, they will tell you that 99.9% of the people have grown up in some type of trauma. We all can relate to trauma when it's like, oh, maybe I was beat, or oh, my mother was a alcoholic, or my father was a drug addict, or whatever, right? Or oh, someone touched me. But the thing is, trauma for one person and trauma for another person can be two different things, right? So you can have a family that, they was worth millions, and maybe, like Paris Hilton, her trauma was that the mother sent her off to the boarding school. So my thing is, I do respectfully get everything she went through, right? And I get that this whole thing is not on Kevin Hunter's back, because what happens is people will prey on the weak.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I think the lesson has to move into, the bottom line is, you got to love yourself. And if you don't, you open the door to everything.
Self accountability,
Speak
Diva.
louder, Diva. Say it louder. Say it for
You
everyone.
gotta be.
To everything. Hold on one second. You open the door to everything, and then such things happen to you, right? So listen, there were many people that were fine into the pandemic when they had to face themselves and be by themselves, and they couldn't go anywhere. They went absolutely out of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all this to say what? If we could give any lesson to anybody, if you find yourself in any type of relationship, whether it's a friendship, a significant other, whatever the case may be, if that person, you not yourself, nothing good is feeling and happening for you when you with that person, around that person, you got to cut them off.
Yep.
Cut them off.
Love yourself more.
Like they didn't pay their cable bill. You cut them off. Save yourself. Because she had so many things going on and they just compiled on each other to the point where what? She lost self.
Yep.
When you're sitting in the face of a doctor that's telling you you already lost brain cells, and if you continue to pick up that bottle, you're going to lose some more. She went into rehab. Sometimes you got to live someplace until your victory comes. And listen, I am not by any means telling anybody who to believe in and what to believe in, so forth for something. But have some foundation of believing in something that is a higher power than yourself.
Mm.
I will tell you my own experience, to God be the glory, that every time I went through my trials and tribulations, I was physically alone, but I was never alone because he was right there with me. So all I'm saying is that you have to have multiple layers of protection. You got to pray, you got to believe, and you got to trust that you don't need a man. I don't care if you got 10 kids in you. That is better you and the 10 kids than a no good man that ain't doing right by you anyway.
Mm.
Cut them off. Cut them off. Which this, part of it, and I love Wendy, but part of her own demise was when you allow a man to be in your house with your money that you making.
Mm.
And you want to take my money and buy this chick a mansion down the block from me?
Come on, Diva.
It ain't happening. I don't care how much I love you. I don't even care if I ain't that in love with myself. I tell you what I want to do though. We done. I'm not paying for no another chick to live nowhere. And that chick didn't work at all. She was business after business after business off of Wendy Williams funds.
Her day will come.
Failed business.
It's here. It's here.
Them dry pancakes.
Thank God for Wells Fargo, because he was exploiting her and taking her money way before she had cognitive issues.
So where was Wells Fargo when he was buying all them houses for Serena? Where was Wells Fargo then? Like
that part. But let me just say this. I will say this. I'm sure that probably at one point or other, the dad told the son, go to the bank and get this, that, because we need it. So I feel for the son. I feel for the son because, there's manipulation that goes on sometimes between parents when they split and then they got the kid. And the kid is stuck in the middle and don't know which way to go, because they love both of them. I love my mom, I love my dad. What am I to do? A perfect example is that James Brown documentary where the daughter wrote a book saying at 6, I had to jump on my father's back to get him off my mother. And now as a grown woman, the daughter's sitting in the documentary, and I ain't saying whether it was wrong or right. The daughter is sitting in the documentary talking about forgiveness, grace, and mercy, even though she saw her father beat the bricks off of his wives, including her mother, and some other people.
Couldn't be me.
But she's now on the documentary Say It Loud, and she's speaking. Why? Because that's also her daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, Diva, why didn't Wendy Williams have her son on a different account and had money going to his account instead of having him giving money out of her account? I wonder why she didn't have him on, having his own account.
Because nobody thinks about the future, and nobody thinks it's ever going to end.
But I'm just saying, was he on her account? Because you have to be on that person's account to get money out of there.
He
Was
had to
she
be
with
right.
him when she was going to the bank?
He had to, Katrina. He had to be right because she sat up in the thing that said, only time I went there to take money out, my mother knew about it. So he had to be it had to be something where he was allowed to get this money. Right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah, because that's the only way.
It had to be. But the thing that really matters is we all have got to set up our financial thing a little bit better because now, unfortunately, I will say this. Unfortunately, I'm going to say this. If a demise happens, the family, will they even be able to be the ones to say what's going to happen with her and what we want to do and how we want this thing to go down? If they have no access to it right now, if something happens, how are they going to have access to then say, we want this, that, and the other? That article says she almost left this world several times.
That's why I was saying, that's why I was wondering, did she have a will? Because if she don't have anybody on her bank account, they're going to have to go to court to get that money out. They're going to have to fight the courts to get her money. So if she
That's
don't
why
have
I think the
nobody,
documentary is necessary.
yeah, if she don't have nobody on that account, they're not going to give that person that money. You're going to have to go to court to fight for that money. So I'm telling everybody this. If you got a bank account and you got money in there, I don't care if you got $10 in there. If you got a child or a family member or whatsoever, or if you don't have a will and all that, put somebody's name on that money, on that account. If something happens to you, that way that person can go to the bank and get that money. And the reason why I know this is because when my mom died, like I said, my mom died all of a sudden. And she didn't have a will. But I had to go to the court to fight to get her money out because she didn't have anybody's name. She didn't have my name on her account. So I had to fight for her money. I had to fight for her money. Even though I was on her death certificate, she was on my birth certificate. I still had to fight for that money because they would try to keep it. So if she don't have anybody on that money or whatsoever, if she don't have a will or some type of trust, that bank will try to keep that money, or that family got to go fight that court to get that money. So I'm telling y'all right now, put somebody on your account that you trust. If something happened to you, they will take care of what got to be done because that bank gonna try to keep your money.
They will. And that's why, like, the Guardian, that's why I said, like, the only best interest she has is the bank's best interest. She's not necessarily in Wendy's best interest. She's trying to guard the money so the money stays with the bank. And that's all she cares about. And I get what you're saying because I'm going through the same thing right now with my mom because she has Alzheimer's. But she been put me and my brother on her account. Like we're both on there. So it's the importance of having your business in order, people. Having your wills in place because you just never know what can happen tomorrow where you are not in control of anything.
I seen somebody say because her son would automatically get that money. No, ma'am. If her son, he don't have that son on that bank account, or if she don't have that will or a trust, he gonna have to fight. He gonna have to go to probate court to get that money. It don't work like I'm my mom only child. That money, it don't work like that. If she don't have that person on that bank account, or she don't have no will or no trust, they gonna have to go to probate court to get that money. I thought it would work that way too because I'm the only child or whatsoever. But no, bam, I had to go to probate court just to get my mom money. So it don't work like, I'm telling you now, it don't work like that. Trust me.
All right. So, Emmanuel, I'm going to try. I have to figure out because if that documentary is 2 hours, right? I'm guessing maybe it's going to be 8 to 10. I don't know. I got to look it up. Maybe let me know. But if we do a watch party 8 to 10 and then talk about it afterwards, you're talking about woo. You're talking about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or midnight. I have to think about it. Yeah. So I have to, I have to see. Well, I'll think about it. But yeah, it's a lot. I guess this whole show was Wendy, and we'll talk about the other things another day. I am going to go ahead and share screen and do our feel good story if I could find it. I hope I didn't. Okay. Yeah. There it is.
All it takes to turn a life around is a lucky find. Here's Steve Hartman.
I love it. Look at God.
Look at God, right? So I thought that was a beautiful, great story.
Beautiful story.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the end of the topic that we had today. So yeah, that you brought it in, girl. You brought it in.
And
And this year, I'm sorry, Diva.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
In this year exposure, I just really, that's why I started what I was doing, because I really wanted to use my platform to do good and pay it forward and help people. And it's stories like this that give me hope and give me the reassurance that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing. Like, God bless that woman for blessing that man, because she could have just walked away and not even think of nothing about it. But it's the importance of supporting those in need. That's where your blessings come. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I have my path, I have my journey and stuff like that, but I'm here. I'm here to give a message. I'm here to spread love. I'm here to pay it forward. I'm here to let the next person come up. And that's why I love Diva so much, because she always believed in me and she always paid it forward and she always lifted me up. And Diva, I'm always appreciative of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nadi. I appreciate you back. Listen, guys, thank you for being here. Nadi has a channel, Nadi Love Movement. Go over there, like, subscribe, and see some of her videos, okay, and support. I want to thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate y'all. You know, we didn't get to the rest of the stories, but this Wendy Williams story is so important. It's about addiction. It's about childhood trauma. It's about trauma going through a relationship that is just bad for you. It's about staying in something too long to the point where it literally breaks you. Use your instinct. When something is telling you it ain't right, you should go, move on, have the strength to move on. Sometimes that very thing you thought you was going to be lost without, you're fine once it's gone. You're fine. You can survive and you will survive. There's anybody out there in a relationship that is breaking them, I pray that you're able to get out without destroying yourself first. I want to thank you guys for being here. If you didn't hit that like button coming in the building, hit it going out. I'll see you next Friday night for Trending Topics. Be here, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys. Good night and goodbye.
Good night, y'all.
Do not cheat the diva or we go straight down. Thank you.